Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It is Chili here, the man who projects iron from his eyes, and I'm here for a 5-minute review on KMFDM's newest album, Let Go. I feel it's necessary to start this review by saying you should always listen to the album yourself and come up to your own conclusions. That said, KMFDM is easily my second favourite German industrial metal band, but only by default.
Default! Woohoo! The two sweetest words in the English language!
Now, considering that this list only contains 2 entries, you can probably guess who is in my first place, especially if du hast my musical taste. Then you will understand that default is the 2 greatest words in the English dictionary. KMFDM, as mentioned before, are a band formed out of Germany in the early 80s and consistently release records to a particular nature, despite sounding like a West Coast American radio station in name only. The latest effort by the band is their 22nd album, and similar to prior releases, the album artwork follows suit with prior records, especially making use of those duotone covers, and to me it's a reflection of the band and their intention, or rather unwillingness to change, that is personified through their artwork and in essence their music too. Don't get me wrong, the few songs that I have heard by KMFDM are very decent, but at the end of it, it's still just a grand sea of very similar sounding music that I just couldn't really get my head into. It's stuck in, I guess, neutral for the 90s music. It's very early 90s industrial metal mixed with that kind of pop scene as well. It's a style that I just never could wrap my head around, and in turn, I just never really got into this band. But I found them thoroughly interesting nonetheless. I mean, they have such a massive collection of records that surely there must be 1 or 2 out there that I do enjoy. But alas, no, I've only listened to a couple of singles here and there at the behest of a few people who have recommended them. Still, with this newest release, I figured I should at least give them a shot and let's see how they went. The album begins with their first track, Let Go, the title track from the record, and it is a decent song. I don't mind this song. You know, it really gets me into the vibe of what I was expecting from KMFDM. It doesn't try to change the wheel or anything like that, and to be honest, I think even fans of the band would hate to see them trying to do anything different other than what they have done for the past 30 or 40 years. When you flow on to the next track, Push, it does get into that kind of weird pop area, which, you know, it does feel very stuck in their styles. And if you're not really from this scene, then you're not really going to understand it or really be into this music. For me, I guess I can compare it to someone like Nick Skitz, who has constantly made all these compilation mixes, something like 60 to date, but it's always stuck in that 90s style of dance music. Nothing changes, just the remixes that he does. And KMFDM is something similar here, in particular with this song Push. It just feels exemplified here on record. Now this record, of course, is not going to win over new fans. It is purely for the fans only here, and it is just what they want, I would imagine. And I would like to hear from the fans at this point as well. Comment below, do you like this record? You know, I just don't know too many people who are KMFDM fans, and I just don't get the chance to speak about this band. That said, I do want to also mention that I went to a concert very recently and saw my first shirt of theirs in the wild. Proceeding on with the track list, you have Next Move, the following track. It certainly taps into the vein of that 90s style 9 Inch Nails era, and I think that's really cool, to be honest, because, you know, you don't hear that too often, especially these days or in new music, unless you're going to go through your back catalogue of previous CDs. So I do admire this song for its tenacity to withhold the values of before. Airhead follows up and isn't too bad. It's a very, you know, safe kind of sounding track. It's a bit middle of the road. The female vocals, I guess, don't really do it for me in the regards to this track, but it isn't too bad. Kind of reminds me of that track, I think it was Space Hog, I can't think of the artist right now, but it does kind of have those vibes to it, being this nice little song. Doesn't sound too terrible, what can I say? If I'm being honest, the next couple of tracks, they felt like they really merged into one here, and I couldn't really tell them apart. It's a bit unfortunate, I guess, except for, I guess, the song track that I'm really going to struggle pronouncing here. It's Earl Konig, I think. I am sorry if I butchered this one here, which had a little interesting guitar hook in this song, and I thought, you know, that's an interesting little piece there that stands out for that minor section. But aside from that, these 3 songs, Turn the Light On, Touch, and Earl Konig really just as I said, merged together, and it's a bit hard to tell them apart, at least from my perspective. When the Bell Tolls is an interesting one. I like the harshness that is brought into this song. It really pumps you up when you're listening to it, especially the last few tracks that it just plays through. It brings this adrenaline to the mix that is really needed at this point within the record, and I think it's a fine selection to put it at this point in here. The next song I want to bring up is WW 2023, which I feel like is a very ominous sounding tune. It's slow, it's drawn out, and there is a lot of time taken to get to the song. Yes, it can feel a bit, I guess, longer than what it actually is. However, it is on purpose. It just has this feeling of, it goes on forever, and I like that within this track. It has worked quite well, I feel, and I think it's one of the better tracks on the record. And of course, the 11th track is a bit of an outro with 49 seconds of sound effects and guitars that are going on. Now, for a record here of 11 tracks that goes for 44 minutes, it is within that perfect runtime. However, I've got to say that this still feels a bit longer than what I would like it to be. I kind of get this feeling that if I'm listening to KMFDM, I have to have a very, very short playlist. I just don't have the attention span to stay within all of these songs at once. And that is because, well, it doesn't sound too dissimilar to their other works. And yeah, look, it's great that they are doing this. It's, of course, their style. They're not going to change, and that's just what they are. So congratulations to the band for staying true to themselves. However, this 44-minute album feels a lot longer, and it's a bit tedious at times, for me at least. Overall, I will give this album a score of 4 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being Let Go, Next Move, and WW 2023. Look, I have given a shot to KMFDM. Unfortunately, they're just not my style. There's not much more I can say. If it's not my style of music, I am going to score it unfavourably, unfortunately. I'm guaranteeing that there's going to be a few angry comments in the sections below just saying, oh, you didn't give them a chance, or, you don't understand the music. And yeah, that's a fair point to add. But at the end of the day, if I don't like the music, I don't know. I can't really just make up a score to appease your needs. If you want, you can make a video and discuss your feelings about how much you love this one. However, for me, it's just not my style. Sorry, but not my style of music, and really not that impressive of an album. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.